as I mentioned in my last video, I wanted to convert this Goldtop guitar with P90s into a baritone tuned guitar. So that would require me to change the strings. And the main issues with that are, will the nut, as it's currently set up, accept bigger strings? And then how will the bridge be? So this is a Mojo Axe compensated bridge, and I know that Joey Landreth uses one on his guitar that's like this, but it's made by Mojo Axe specifically for the bigger strings. So I'm going to see what happens, and if not, if this doesn't work, then obviously I'll have to order one of those and wait. It's coming from, I think, Canada or America, so it'll take quite a long time. Anyway, the first thing I've done is get some Light Gauge Baritone Strings. So these are 13 to 62 with a wound G, and I've never used, I don't think I've used these XL strings before. Anyway, they color code the little tips there, and the grey one is the high string. So what I did was just wanted to make sure if that would fit in here, and it does. So I'm going to carry on going up and seeing if each one fits. If that works, then we'll think about actually putting them on. So you can see the G string with the green tip has got a wound, is wound like your normal lower strings, and does actually fit in here. So I think let's try the 6th string. I think that could be the bigger issue. It's just sort of sitting on top. I think I am going to try putting all the strings on. Just got to try. Otherwise, I will take this to the Boatyard Workshop where I do sort of guitar making lessons, and David there said he'll help me sort this out. Well, as you've seen, it obviously worked, and I'm absolutely delighted. It's really transformed this guitar for me from one where I just wasn't quite getting stuck into it. It was always comfortable, just something about the tone of the guitar didn't quite absolutely get me. So as far as how it's worked, it feels pretty well intonated. I need to go through it in a bit more detail myself, but these have just about fit through here okay. There's a couple of strings that look a bit too close to each other. The G and the D, well, what would be in the G and D. I can try and move those around. And then up at the nut, this low string is slightly sitting on top and slightly sitting in, so it could have a little bit of a file. The rest of them are pretty much okay. The action is still great. Obviously, because I'm not tuning it up to standard tuning, I'm tuning it, 4 frets down at C standard for now. So the tension is okay. I'll see how the truss rod is settled over the first few days. I can use like a straight edge tool that is for, it's got the notches for where the frets are, and you can check the relief and just make sure it's not getting too curved. And these pickups are just fantastic because they're clear and open while still being dynamic and quite supple for a P90. They're not just, what's the right word? They're not painful at all. They have a little bit of squidge to them, which I like. In a second, I'll take you through what rig I'm using today. So I've got the TS1 going directly through the Fryette power station and into my IR on my computer. And earlier today I had this playing out through the speakers as opposed to through the IR. And I need to set up my microphones again just for occasional microphone recording. After spending 2 weeks without hearing an amp in the room, I was blown away. It's just absolutely epic. But anyway, this amp holds together so well for this sort of thing. It's 100 watts, it's got plenty of headroom, and it's just, it's reasonably tight without being too tight, and it just has enough sag to it, so it's fantastic. And then the signal chain is the Dominion fuzz set like that, and that's going into the Mjolnir, and then the Jam Ray, and then this dual delay from Analog Man. And there is only reverb in the DAW, not through here. So it's in post production, and that's the Silververb plugin. So my plan with this guitar is to play it for a couple of weeks, make sure the truss rod is all good, and I'm really trying to practice a lot of slide and getting smoother, making my playing more distinct to the style that I seem to play with, which is this sort of swampy, jumpy blues type stuff that I love. And I'm trying to sort of dedicate myself to just being myself while still learning from all my influences. So we talked about this over the last couple of videos as well. But now what I'm going to do, and if it works, I shall tell you in the next video, is I want to take this, 1 second. I want to do the same thing to this R9. So I have two R9s, and this one is the first one I got, and it's got the Sun Bear PAFs in. And the other guitar is possibly a slightly better guitar. So this one, I thought I could bring it to life and give it its own place if I do the baritone strings thing. So I'm really excited about that because I think humbuckers sound great at a low tuning as well as P90s. And lastly, I think I'm also going to try the same on this hardtail Paul Waller Strat. Being that I can move the saddles about, that shouldn't be too difficult. And I might just, again, need to work on there. But I could tune this one to an open tuning or to a really low tuning. It's got the most fantastic fat sounding neck pickup. And that great humbucker, this could be a perfect slide guitar that I didn't try out in my last video about slides. So I'm really excited about that. So yeah, you'll see later in the week what I've done with this, but for now we'll just play out with this and see you on the next one. Cheers.